Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, definitely a big, warm, happy welcome. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. If you really like my stories, be sure to give me a huge thumbs up. It shows me your support and I love it. And of course, leave a comment, good or bad. All are welcome. Okay, so today I wanted to do a paranormal video, or I should say another paranormal story time. So that's what this is. So if you really want to know what this one is about, please keep watching. As you know, this has been kind of the end of Hurricane Harvey, and I'm doing this story. I was going to wait to do this story a little bit later, but it's one that's really, you know, very near and dear to my heart, and it seemed appropriate to tell this story now. So, okay, here goes. As you know, I have very lucid dreams, and this one was no different. And I go into a place that I've been to a million trillion times, and as you keep listening to my lucid dreams, my paranormal stories, you're going to hear this place come up a lot. And I don't know where this place is. I can only explain it as an in-between place, you know, especially when you're alive and you kind of, your soul, your spirit travels, it goes to different places, and you know, you can't put a name to it, and that's why I think people are very skeptical and don't believe you, and you know, the whole nine yards. But it is a very lucid dream. This was during a time just like the victims of Hurricane Harvey, and my heart goes out to them and my prayers are with them. This was another time that Florida was going through one of her hurricanes, and I really don't even remember which one it was. I've been through so many. This wasn't that long ago, and I was getting to the point where, you know, I was having anxiety, I was a nervous wreck, I was getting to the end of my rope and, you know, waiting for these damn hurricanes to come through and wondering what was going to happen. Are we going to be without electricity again I'm sorry, but Florida's a swamp, and the heat is deadly. I mean, pretty much deadly to elderly and the very young, and if you're sick, forget it. You know, you really rely on air conditioning there, and it's the law. It's pretty much the law. So that's very scary when these hurricanes pass through. It's just not only the worry of, you know, is the food in your refrigerator, is that all going to go? How are you going to restock your refrigerator? You know, is there going to be any gas? Because gas, water, the oil to light the lamps that everyone normally gravitates towards, you know, is gone. Everything's gone. Everything's wiped off the shelves. Walgreens, Rite Aid, the supermarket. But you know the drill. I'm not going to go into that anymore. Sorry. I like to go on a tangent. I usually go out to left field when I'm telling stories, so I'm going to try to bring myself back when I do that. So anyway, in this lucid dream, this time period was around the time of a hurricane, and it was the night before, and like I said, I was just in a panic, and I had made the decision. I said, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna go to bed. I went to sleep upset and worried and just frustrated and tired of just having to deal with the hurricane. So when I wake up, and I say I wake up because that's what it's like you wake up in this place. The place was stark white. I know that it was a familiar place because I'd seen the stark whiteness on many occasions before. And when I looked up in this particular lucid dream, I'm like 11. I'm a little girl again, and there was a couch that I grew up with in my house when I lived with my mom and my sisters and my dad. There was a couch that my mom bought. It was a brown couch with like these orange little feathery things all over it. And it was a couch that I'd grown up with. It was one of those couches that the bed pulls out. And I remember I was sitting at the base of, you know, right at the foot of that couch with my knees up against my chin. And we used to have a coffee table, and that coffee table was in front of me. And there was nobody with me yet, but when I looked up, there was like a cyclone of nothing but debris circling over me. And I was like, oh God. And I remember feeling deathly afraid in the dream and worried and really scared. Now, the person who came to me in the dream was my uncle. My uncle, his name in Spanish is Efrain, and in English it's Ephraim. It's a Bible name. I really love that name. He would always call every week or so, and he would talk to my mom, his sister, And every time, I remember every time he would call, you know, he would make believe he was somebody else and try to fool me. And it was so funny because he had a really thick Spanish accent and he could never fool anyone. Everybody knew who he was, and I was the one who usually got the phone, and he would always make me laugh. Always make me laugh. And at the time that I had this dream, he had passed away he passed away when I was 14. He's the one that appeared in the dream, and he comes, and I was, oh God, I was so happy to see him. I hadn't seen him in such a long time. And he comes and he sits on the couch, and he had like a paper in his hand. I had no idea what the paper was. So I just go up, you know, to his leg, and I grab his leg. I was like 11, so I was really little, and I had the coffee table like that was kind of over me, and then I had his leg, and I was just looking up at him and so happy to see him and have his company, and I knew that everything was going to be okay, or that I was safe. And I kept looking up, and he's like, don't look up, it's fine, just look at me and pay attention to what I'm going to tell you. And I was just like, okay. And I had calmed down a little bit, but I was still very afraid. And you could see all the debris in this huge circle just circling above us. And he was like, don't worry about that. And I was like, really? Really? You don't want me to worry about the massive amounts of crap that are just up in the air being held by I don't know what, that could come down in any moment? But, you know, I was a kid, and I was just happy to have him there. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to worry about it. So the paper he had in his hand was a map. And I remember he, you know, spread the map out, and I remember seeing the ocean and Florida, you know, the peninsula, and I remember seeing all the states, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, you know, all the way up to New York, you know, everything. So he was talking to me, you know, he was, you know, petting my head and my shoulder and saying, come on, you know, look here. And I remember looking at the map and looking at him and being so happy to see him, because in the dream I knew that he had passed away. I knew it. And I just didn't want him to go, and he had no intentions of going anywhere. That's the feeling he gave me in the dream. It was comfort. It was you know, familiarity. He looks just like my mom too, so that was even better. It was like just like having my mom there. I know that's kind of weird, but they looked like twins. And for me, you know, my mom wasn't in the dream, so he was my mom. But anyway, he was showing me the map, and he was saying, okay, this is where the hurricane is. This is where you are, and the hurricane is going to pass, and you have nothing to worry about. And this is what the conversation entailed. And it was just me listening to him explain that. And I remember I enjoyed every moment, every second that I had with him, because I knew that he would leave and I wouldn't probably see him again for a very, very long time. And oh my God, that was like the best lucid dream I think I've ever had to date. And when I woke up, like I said, when I fell asleep, the hurricane was just coming through, and you know, we were in for it. We were in for the tornadoes and everything else that comes with a hurricane. So when I went to bed, I woke up after that visit with him. I woke up and it was 8 o'clock in the morning. The hurricane was over. Everything was done. It wasn't a whole lot of damage. Some people did sustain damage. There were, you know, normal things that happen in a hurricane. Nothing like Harvey, of course. But it came through and everything was okay. And yep, that was the visit from my dead uncle. That's why I named this particular story. I gave the story that title because it was a visit from my wonderful uncle who passed away when I was 14. And it was just, I will never forget it. I carry it with me right here. And yeah, so I think that if you're ready, if someone in your life has passed away that you really love and that you really miss, if you're ready and if you're able to deal with it, you know, to deal with the visit, I think that you could still see your family members who have passed away, and they're capable of coming to comfort you and I don't know, just, you know, get you through a hard time. And he really, really did get me through that hurricane, because I so very much needed to be supported and told that, you know, everything was going to be okay, and I will never forget it. Well, this is the end of my story. I hope you really liked it. And if you have any questions, as usual, leave them in the description box below. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate every last one of you. Remember, be good to each other. This is the holiday weekend for Labor Day, so I wish you all a very, very wonderful Labor Day weekend. And yeah, until my next video.